Morning, Baker 501 students. It is Sunday, September 24th, so I hope everyone is having a great weekend. Wanted to go ahead and give you a little bit of overview of the expectations this week and some insights in the chapters. So continue with the forum discussions. You all are doing a great job. I love that many people posted videos. It allows me to get to know you a little bit better. Work on the vocabulary, the quiz, and start thinking about the draft for your workplace research papers. So remember, week 5, I want you to submit that so I can give you some feedback. It doesn't have to be completely finished, but I want you to make sure to give you some guidance. Try to do the best you can to have it, close to finished in draft form, so I give some feedback, and that way there's less pressure on you towards the end of the course. So go ahead and get that started, but I know it will take a little bit of time to kind of interview some people and ask your questions. So let's look at first chapter 4 this week. You're going to have the role of government. You think about the roles of government, some of the things that they do. They look at establishing the rules and institutions. They make sure to promote workable competition. They provide public goods. They adjust for undesirable market results. Say, for example, there's the underproduction of education or not providing enough protection to individuals, such as, say, correcting for negative externalities, such as secondhand smoke. They may tax that to shift demand curve in. They also provide public goods, such as national defense, police force, local community parks, that we can't exclude people, and it's non-rival. Like a private good, I consume it, a cheeseburger, it's excludable and rival. Nobody else can consume it. But even if I pay no taxes and I don't have a job, I still get the benefit of all these public goods. Okay? This chapter is also going to talk about the idea of taxation. And I was talking to my son this yesterday, trying to explain it, because he's taking microeconomics at the University of Missouri, and I was telling him the difference between like a progressive tax, like something like your income. As your income goes up, you're going to pay a higher percentage. Trying to explain to him, hey, that the first 12,000 or so, perhaps that's charged at 10%, but it's after that. Say if you're a married couple, that you're going to go into that next bracket that'll be 12%, and then once you start jumping above like 80,000 for a married couple, now you're jumping up to like, I think it's like 20 or 22%. So it's not that you're paying 22% on all your taxes. It's just that incremental amount. And that's why a lot of individuals try to use tax strategies. Remember, tax avoidance is good. Use the strategies that put in place, because policymakers put them in place to try to get you to do certain things like save more for retirement. But tax evasion is bad. You go to jail. So don't do that personally, and don't do that for your business either. The other example they give is like a regressive tax. That if, say you have a family that's paying $600 a year in sales tax on food, and they're only making $30,000, but you have another family that makes $100,000 a year, and they're still paying $600 on food, assuming that families have the same needs for food, even though a wealthy family may buy a little bit more food or more expensive food. The percentage of how much that poorer family is paying relative to their income is much higher than someone that's paying making $100,000 a year. So it's regressive in that sense. So example like Social Security, after $160,000, the 6.4% you no longer pay, and your employer no longer pays it. So then it becomes a regressive tax. You still have to always pay that 1.45%, which I think goes to a disability. Well, Chapter 1, you're going to look at the cost of reductions. You're going to start thinking about production functions. So one of the things, as economists we're interested in is like, what's the right combination of labor and capital to produce this with the fewest resources? Something to be both technically efficient. We can have different combinations of labor and capital that still produce the same number of genes, but ultimately we want to do it at be economically efficient, to do it at the lowest possible cost. So you're going to look at such things like production functions. And let's say that I mean well and I try really hard. We have a donut business with our cohort, and I come in, I make 5 donuts that day. And let's say that Quan comes in, and now we're making 25 donuts a day. So that there was a big jump when Quan came in and helped out. And then so that difference between the 5 and the 20, we put it there, was 15. And let's say Ian comes along, but now we're producing 35 donuts. Well, now the jump was going from 15 to 10. So we're still making more donuts, but it's increasing at a decreasing rate. That's what we call like the law of diminishing marginal return. So this is also why cost curves are going to be U-shaped when you look at them in our textbook, because it's unrealistic to think if I just keep on adding more and more labor in a fixed space and time, and output will say grow exponentially. So it's not the case, So we're going to have limited output in a given production facility or space or time. So you're going to look at such things as marginal cost, the change in total cost divided by quantity produced. You'll also look at total cost, which equals fixed cost plus variable cost. And then we can also look at average total cost, which is total cost divided by quantity. Average fixed cost was fixed cost divided by quantity. And then average variable cost, which is variable cost divided by quantity. So you're going to get to understand the cost curves a little bit better. And then also you're going to look at the definition of economies of scale versus just economies of scale. To give you a quick insight, you'll often hear executives use the term that they're trying to create economies of scale. In fact, like mergers, going back to like chapter 4 in the role of government, one of them, they want to make sure they promote competition. I was reading about a merger in the Justice Department and Trust Division this past week about JetBlue, and I think it's Spirit Airlines, and basically the government doesn't want them to merge because they're worried about reducing output, increasing prices, but the two airlines would argue, hey, we can actually experience lower average total cost if I can just have one company and, it help benefit us, but for example, JetBlue probably has a Treasury Department. So does Spirit. They have a Treasury Department with the idea they would merge to one Treasury Department, but that would also mean some people, they would tell you, see you later. You're no longer working there. So diseconomies of scale, we actually make ourselves worse off. Usually as the firm gets larger and larger. As an example, Budweiser does not produce all the beer in St. Louis. They have many different locations throughout the United States and distribution systems, but if they produced all the beer in St. Louis, it would take forever to get the beer distributed throughout the United States, and that would cause diseconomies of scale. So hopefully I'll give you a little bit of insights this week. Do email me if you have any questions. But I really enjoyed your foreign discussion posts, so continue doing a great job on that. And I will talk to you during the week. I've been able to get to post everybody on Wednesday and Thursday and Fridays, so that's good. I like this system of doing it with the video. It makes it a lot easier, I think, on everyone. But otherwise, have a great week, and we'll talk to you online.